This is Mike Gerstein. We're going to be talking about the future of community informatics, and I'm talking with Aldo de Moor, who would I'd like to have introduce himself. Aldo.
Thanks for the invitation, Mike. Yes, who am I? A long story, but I used to be an academic. I worked at Tilburg University in the Netherlands. I got my doctorate on the evolution of socio-technical systems of communities. So I was interested in how do the socio-technical systems of communities evolve over time, and what are the kind of the norms that govern, the social norms that govern this process of change. Then I was an assistant professor there. I used to work at the Free University of Brussels Semantic Technologies Lab, and since 5 years I run my own company called Community Sense. And basically I advise organizations in the non-profit sector, mainly governments, education, research, on how to collaborate more efficiently and effectively using internet. Especially interested in how to basically help collaborative communities form and strengthen their interactions and productivity. So that's basically my background.
So, where does a community informatics approach fit into what you're doing?
Oh, basically it's the whole, it's everything I do. So actually my company motto is Community Informatics Research and Practice.
Huh.
So what I'm interested in is how to basically use the potential of ICTs. There's a lot of power and potential in ICTs, but of course this power is more often than not than it is not realized. So what's the problem there? There is a lot of power, but how do we appropriate it? How do you kind of fit it in real world context of use, which kind of different for each and every community. There's so many different factors involved there which go way beyond technical functionalities. Actually, technical functionalities are only 10% of the puzzle. It's the 90% of how do individual people interact with them, what are the goals of the community, how does the community itself form, how does the technology enable the community, but also how does it constrain the community, and vice versa, how do the requirements of the community kind of lead to new technologies being discovered and appropriated. So this everything it revolves around the interaction between the technology and community.
So, could you give some specific examples of things that you're working on at the moment?
Well, I think a very interesting case is the one that I'm currently working on a lot, which is the Dutch Ministry of Social Affairs. They're trying to set up a domain intranet for civil servants working on social welfare, which basically is about 20,000 civil servants in the Netherlands. So it's really major. It's the ministry itself, municipalities, all kinds of welfare agencies, expertise centers. And so far they've been very siloed. They all will do their own thing, but they really need each other. But them being government agencies, they're very used to doing things their own way, and now they need to find a way to collaborate together. And basically, this domain intranet consists of a lot of content that they share, government policies, all kinds of content that they need to do their job. But the content is only part of it. If you kind of provide people with a lot of content, they just don't know what to do with it. So somehow collaboration needs to form, and one way to do that is to allow these people within this overall domain intranet to very easily set up communities and join communities and start to converse within communities. And through these communities, collaboration emerges bottom up rather than top down. So it's a very exciting project, a very difficult one, but we're really seeing good progress there.
Mm. And how do you see? I mean, how do you see the work that you're doing kind of evolving into the future? What role do you see for a community informatics approach as you see your own company and your own work going on into the future?
Well, actually, what I'm ever more discovering is there used to be a lot of attention on virtual communities, online communities, 10, 15 years ago. It was really the hot thing, like Howard Rheingold's famous book kind of set this scene. So it was all about how do you start a community, how do you facilitate it, how do you make it grow, how do you deal with conflicts within communities, what role do the different technologies play. But it's very much focused on individual communities. And What I think is a very exciting thing now is that you see networks of communities emerging. They really start to spill over from their boundaries. They start to merge, they start to align, they start to kind of intersect, and it's really becoming like the whole society is now slowly starting to become community driven, and like actors in education and government and businesses, and they're all meeting in communities, and communities themselves spawn new communities. So I think one very interesting development is that it's kind of the evolution of networks of communities. So it's one level up in scale and complexity as well.
Mm.
I think that's a major trend, and it's going to be a very important one. And so many people are talking about moving from Web 2.0, which is very much focused on people interacting on the web, to like Society 3.0. 3.0 meaning that you go beyond the 2.0, which is about interactions, often like ad hoc interactions between people, to 3.0, where you're starting to develop value change, like change of interactions and value that persist beyond the ad hoc interaction that now often characterizes Web 2.0 and social media. So it's really about how do you mesh communities, how do you mesh social media and other ICTs with the traditional business processes, information management kind of problematic that didn't go away. I think actually interesting thing is that there was a big hype on social media for the past 5 years, and it was like we don't need the old information systems anymore. We can do away with the old boring traditional business processes and organizational politics. Well, the lesson is that they haven't gone away, and they're back with a vengeance. And now we're getting the interesting thing that how do the insights of social media interact and mesh with the classic problems and solutions of bureaucracies, of organizational science, of information management approaches. So it's a very exciting time, I think, that the old and new start to mesh and interact and need each other, rather than the social media being the replacement of the old.
And where does the role of physical communities fit into this?
Physical, well, actually, the interesting thing is, I think physical or online or virtual communities, it's kind of a misnomer. It's really all about communities which manifest themselves in both online and physical dimensions. So it's really the community that lives and emerges and grows in different media, virtual ones being an important one, but of course the physical community is really where the heartbeat is. The physical community is where people meet, where they start to trust each other, or start to hate each other, but at least where people really have to deal with conflicts. People kind of
Hello, Aldo. Hello.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Can you see me now? Or
What's that?
can you see me? Or
I can't see you. No.
let me just. Can you merge videos? Or?
Well, the UBC is going to do a bit of editing, so I'll ask them to just edit this out.
Okay, so let me try to get back on video. I'll try to call you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.